Hi, everyone's YouTube channel. We have myself, Nick, and Terry here to discuss another crushing loss for the Boston Red Sox. Red Sox lost by a final score of 5-4 against the Chicago White Sox in a very sloppy bottom of the ninth inning. You have Tristan Casas over at first base with a hard hit ball, can't make the play. Runner gets on first base. Then it results with a stolen base because we have our new catcher behind the dish who doesn't understand how to throw a ball to second base. I don't know if you saw Christian Arroyo's lovely attempt from knocking that ball down from the outfield, but I give him props for that. And then Elvis Andrus gets the game-winning hit off Kenley Jensen. I really can't blame much of this on Kenley Jensen, Terry, but let's talk a little bit about what went down, how this all happened, how do they fix this mess, and hopefully at least get a win tomorrow to salvage the series.
Yeah, so it's going to come down to either Casas or Jansen in terms of, blame for the ninth inning. Tough play for Casas. I would like to think an average first baseman is able to knock that down, ship it to the pitcher to get the out, but Casas couldn't come up with it, and the base runner gets on. And then they use a pinch runner, which was ironic because Jarren Duran robbed them blind today. 3 stolen bases on the day.
Bases.
They have that Remillard kid, admittedly. I'm not that familiar with him, but he became the pinch runner, stole the base. Wasn't real close. I know it was an ugly throw by the catcher, but I don't think he would have been out regardless. And then Elvis Andrus, I think he goes all the way back to those early 2010s Texas Rangers World Series team. They came up short a couple of times, but I'm pretty sure he was on that team. So seasoned hitter and hit the blooper and spoiled, an epic rally there because Kendall Graveman, Chicago White Sox closer, did everything he could do to try to blow that game.
We can talk about Adam Duvall as well. Here's a guy, and I talked about it last night on the solo act when I did the show. I am concerned on Adam Duvall, and I'm concerned with the wrist. I'm concerned that he came back way too soon, and his timing is completely off. I can't warrant playing him over Jarren Duran or some of these other guys when Verdugo comes back from the bereavement list on everything there. You got to sit Duvall down. You got to. Jarren Duran, you got to get into that lineup. You saw him on the bases. When he gets on, he creates havoc on the bases. And he is able, when he's at least on first base, he'll get to second or third, and that helps to score runs. So in my eyes, even when he is going a little slower, I thought he had a nice game, nice bounce back game after a little bit of a slump. Impactful, definitely in the lineup for today. So Duvall, I'm concerned with. He just can't even hit a beach ball right now, Terry.
I suspect they'll still sit Duran against lefties, but if it were up to me, he would be in the lineup every day. And it's a little surprising with Duvall because he did have a pretty lengthy rehab assignment. It was at least 12 or 13 games because he was on the 60-day. I think they can bring him up 15 days before it. And, so you get a couple of weeks of rehab, and he didn't look spectacular. He did hit 1 or 2 home runs. He's hit a home run since coming back, but certainly not the spark plug that he looked like that first week of April when he had something insane, 4 or 5 home runs, 14 runs batted in. It was just, he might have been 0 for 4 today with a hit by pitch. The hit by pitch was the only time he reached base. I know that.
Yesterday he struck out 4 times. So that's a series right there.
That's
a series right there. Just can't happen from that. I also think that a lot of the problems with Duvall is it was kind of playing trickery on the fans a little bit. He had that great first week. I think fans got overhyped way too much on, oh, wow, this is Adam Duvall. He's going to hit 500 all year. He's going to hit 4 or 5 home runs a week. Oh, this is wonderful. Everything's going to be just completely awesome. And in a way, it's playing a mind game on a lot of people with saying, oh, here he is again. He's back. He's not injured anymore. He's going to put up those same numbers again. So fans got to lower those expectations because overall, the guy Adam Duvall he's a big strikeout guy. He hits for power. We do know that. But overall, in my eyes, he's an average player. He still gets the job done, but he's definitely come back down to earth since he's gotten back from the IL. So who's the hot hand to play over right now? I go Duran because I think you need to see that impact on the bases helping you to win games. The other thing, too, I want to mention is the David Hamilton up from Worcester as well, now playing shortstop and all. Made a heck of a defensive play today. That guy creates havoc as well on the bases. If you have a Duran Hamilton 1-2 punch on the bases, to me, that's exciting baseball when you can move these guys around and get the job done that way. So, what do you think on David Hamilton so far?
Well, Dustin Pedroia turned Jarren Duran's career around by the looks of it, because this isn't a small sample size anymore with Jarren Duran. So maybe Hamilton ought to hang out with Pedroia. I don't know. He's never really been a steady hitter. He's always projected out to be an off the bench utility guy, middle infield, and can certainly pinch run late in games, and that's super valuable. I mean, base stealing has to be way up this year. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I'd love to see it. But I think, Trevor Story's coming back, and it's just hard to imagine he'll have a future.
Yeah, this is just in a way, just a safe gap, just because you don't have Pablo Reyes. You've had so many different injuries there, Story as well. Next guy up mentality that they have to go with. And hopefully David Hamilton makes the most of his opportunity because he's an exciting kind of player. But I'm going to agree with you as well on this. I think he's an off-the-bench guy who can add some speed. In a way, going way back on this, Joey Gathright. I don't know if you remember that name when he played for the Tampa Rays. There was a guy that had all this speed but just couldn't be an everyday regular player. So that could be the equivalent of what David Hamilton could be. Tomorrow, we have the final game in this series where we know Cutter Crawford is up for the Red Sox. I think we're still on TBA mode for the Chicago White Sox. I'm not sure if you've seen any probables. Yeah, bullpen game. So just kind of going over, what do you expect for Crawford for tomorrow? He had a decent outing last time out. Can he continue that?
It's tough to tell. I'm still a skeptic on him, but either way, I'll pick the Red Sox. That Chicago bullpen, not great. They used up some of their better arms today. I don't know who would really be available to pitch for them. I don't know what Kopech's status is, but he could. He's kind of been a swing guy from the rotation of the bullpen, so he could certainly eat up innings if available. But I have to take the Red Sox tomorrow.
It's a game that they got to get. You called it. Everybody else in the regular crew also said this was a sweep and you needed the sweep, and now it's not going to turn into that. So to me, I'm disappointed in how this series has gone so far. You needed that win today, and you can't even pull out a win against the Chicago White Sox. Again, we're still at that cedering mode. We're at that 500 plateau, and I think that's exactly where it's going to be unless they go on some sort of a run, and I'm not feeling that high about that right now.
Need to get some innings, though, out of Cutter Crawford. Josh Winchowski gave up 3 solo shots today. Yeah. Who do you trust outside of Kenley, who probably won't be available tomorrow, and Chris Martin?
Chris Martin is my guy. That's the one I look at. But.
Yeah. But you got Bernardino, who's been okay. So you got to get some innings out of Crawford. And you might need to get a lot of starts out of him, too, because James Paxton could be on the injured list. Who knows? Who knows with that guy?
That was a concern as well with him. He went out after the 4th inning with an apparent knee injury. Not good for a guy that's right now your number 2 in your rotation, right behind Bayo. You can't have him go down. You can't. So hopefully this is minor and he's back out there for his next start. But who knows?
Would be pretty catastrophic if he does go on the injured list.
That's going to do it here for another Bastards of Boston YouTube show. We will see you again for the post game for tomorrow's finale for the Red Sox and the White Sox. Have a good night.